Hey everyone, I just wanted to jump on real fast and talk a little bit about this war that just broke out in the Middle East. And I would like to call on Palestinian and Israel leaders here in the States to show compassion and show what it means to really speak up for peace. And I understand when these conflicts that have been going on for so long, they're really ingrained and the stories are really entrenched on both sides. And it is a lot easier for us to, who are not in the middle of these, to just call for peace and like be cool and things like that, when the reality of the intensity and the understanding that needs to come in and the compassion is almost unbearable to think about how to end a war or a conflict or try to start soothing just hate. Um, I do want to say though that it is possible. It is possible just when you think, okay, this is possible, we can get there. This is one of those times where it doesn't matter. We don't have to have the roadmap, as you say, or as they say. It's just important to know that we can get there. Compassion can happen, miracles can happen, peace can happen. I think it's really important to point out that when I was listening to the news this morning, I was listening to MSNBC, and they were saying that the reports coming from Israeli TV and from Palestinian TV was that this is just awful. Both sides know very well, and unfortunately, you know, too well, what it means to be in war, what it means to lose family members, what it means to lose loved ones, what it means to lose friends. And I'm hoping that we just get to this point where it is about the collective and it's about peace and harmony, but it's also about compassion and healing. So I would ask us um, to really pay attention to what the news is saying and see if the news is trying to spin a story. Okay. Because the reality of it is this morning when all this was coming out, it sounded very clear that both sides are very, I mean, it was a surprise attack, if you will, but both sides want peace. Both sides want these stories of occupation to end. Both sides want to live without borders. Both sides want compassion. And again, how do we get there? The answer is we do and we can. Also, just astrologically speaking, Pluto is getting ready to turn direct. And when it turns direct, it will then go into Aquarius in January. And I think that's important because when Pluto goes into Aquarius is the future, Aquarius is communication. And so I'm hoping just Pluto turning direct and starting to move that way, we're going to get in some new communication, not just about this conflict, but just all sorts of new ways to how to speak about things, how to talk about things. Again, I always say it's these new ways to heal or new ways to talk about new ideas to talk about old problems, right? The energy is here, friends. So it's important to kind of lean into that. Also, just quickly, this eclipse that's coming up in Libra. The South Node is in Libra, and when Libra is in a lower vibe, Libra can hold a grudge like no one's business. I have lots of friends who are Libras. It is an art form. So this eclipse in Libra, I hope, or one way I do read it, is that it is eclipsing out some of that lower energy of holding grudges, right? Of not being able to make decisions, of always putting others first instead of yourself, Libra. And so this energy coming in, I hope it is eclipsing out this grudge holding, like it has to be this way. I hope it's eclipsing out the idea that we have to keep living this way because it's for the royal we instead of, or not the royal we, but for the we instead of the royal we or the I. if we can get out of that old Libra energy that's out of balance, that we and start moving into where that north node is, right, which is Aries. We just had that full moon in Aries, which is more about me and being okay with being me, and bringing that Libra back into balance, where Libra is celebrating what it feels like to be in balance, what it feels like to live with the other instead of always worried about the other or putting the other first. You know, we can live harmoniously putting ourselves first. That doesn't mean that we, selfishly forget about the other. It's just that when we start putting ourselves first, then we're in better moods, then we love ourselves, and then we can help lift others up instead of going at this constant, well, I got to keep showing up even though you're drained, you don't feel good, you're tired. That going when you are completely burned out, or keep going when it's like an old storyline that's completely over, that's what leads to anger and resentment, into fighting, right? And so with this eclipse, if we start eclipsing that out and start saying that we can be each other's brothers and sisters, and this isn't always easy. We actually, a lot of us do have brothers and sisters, and a lot of times we fight, right? We get it. But then we also have soul brothers and sisters whom we love dearly, right? Um, and again, I can go back to this idea, if we were better with putting up boundaries with our own family, that might help move things into a more balanced way of being. So this is a lot of energy right now on the planet. So I ask us all to see that while this is happening, the underlying storyline to me and the underlying feeling to this is peace. And the other underlying idea is that we want to get back into balance. So just be very careful and see if you're getting gaslit by the news, if they're trying to push an old narrative that really just doesn't resonate anymore. The idea of knowing like homelands and things like that and being prideful, and in a good sense, we get it. But at the same time, this is where we are now. And we can still have reverence to our ancestors and reverence to being or holding things in reverence, and we can still get along with each other. We can still be respectful. We can still have those boundaries, those energetic boundaries, and being okay. Because when we feel okay, then we can see others feeling okay. When we don't feel okay, then we don't see others feeling okay. And we kind of get irritated when others do feel okay, when we don't feel okay. And so again, that's this Libra season about bringing things back into balance. It's that South Node in Libra, getting away from the idea that we can't speak up, that we can't make decisions, that we have to think about the other first before we think about us. When Libra is in balance, it makes a decision, it does go forward, it does know that the other's going to be okay, and we're going to be okay too. So big news in the Middle East. Of course we pray for peace, of course we pray for the other, of course we need to pray for ourselves, hold them in light, hold them with intelligence, with like that intelligence beings, intelligent energy, and know that it's here on the planet, and really look for that, and have compassion if you can, if you're able to do that, have compassion for the lives lost, and for the anger, and for the fear, and just the frustration. If there's out there, if others that are out there that can hold that compassion so it can heal, do that. And if you're in a place right now where you're scared and you feel out of balance, it's okay. It's okay. There's others out there that are holding space for you and for our leaders and for the world. So know that there is a good energy coming in. And at times, if you're not in that good energy, give yourself that space. I always say drink lots of water, go for a walk, and then allow yourself to get back into balance. Okay. We're all in this together, but there is a way we can do this that's a more calm, compassionate, loving vibration, because we're at a tipping point where I do feel like the world has just had enough of the hate and, the lies and all those things. and we're ready to have that conversation where we can get more into balance and see each other as brothers and sisters. It is here. That energy is here as well. Okay, friends, if you have any questions, please reach out. Helen and I will be back on Monday. If anything else comes up, of course, I'll jump on. But please know, astrologically, I see things, you can go see another astrologer, he'll probably tell you the exact opposite, but I see things moving towards a more peaceful resolution. We've got to get there. In the energy, the underlying energy is that we don't want war. We don't want this to be, I know it is a war right now, but we don't want a full-fledged war. There's an outcry for peace and understanding in this part of the world. And I think it needs to be heard, and it needs to be heard in an intelligent way. Okay, friends, till then, stay mindful. Stay mindful of where you are, stay mindful of your feelings, and stay mindful of others.